going to talk about the first step of the sales call. If you have not seen 5 Steps of the Sales Call, the overview, please go to www.worldsbestsalestrainer.com and you'll be able to see that video and any other sales training videos that we've done for free. You'll also be able to post comments and submit articles. So let's get started. There's 2 parts to sales preparation. The first part is the physical preparation for the sales call. And I won't be able to really help you too much with that because that has a lot to do with what industry you are and what company you work for. I can tell you that most managers have a tendency to train their sales reps to over prep. And this is because they don't want you to lose a sale on something that could have been preventable. Also, they need to cover themselves. So if something does go wrong, they can always tell the people above them, well, you know, I did show them how to do that. Let me show you my let me show you my notes. Let me show you the training that I took them through. But the fact of the matter is that you need to do as little preparation as you possibly can. Now, the other thing to be careful of is that everybody today is going to the websites and checking out the information on the websites. Realize that website information sometimes has a tendency to be old. It can be as old as 10 years in today's world. And this is one of the biggest things that everybody does. Look, I know these phones they start to weigh 100 pounds and the doorknobs get really, really hot. We've all experienced it. And it's really easy to do sales prep when you should be out in front of the customer. So what I always do is I have hours in which I do my sales, and then I have hours in which I do other things. So that's the best way to approach it and kind of have a plan while you're figuring things out on what to do. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is mental preparation. So how do you handle this? Well, the first thing I'll tell you is to be focused. When you walk in that door, make sure you already know what you're going to do as far as sales prep, when you're going to sales prep, when you're going to make cold calls, what appointments that you have. Now, everything changes at the last minute, of course, but if you come in with a purpose, with a plan, people are going to stay away from you and they're not going to give you as much grief because you're not going to be available for them. And I'll always remember that the people on a sales floor, the ones that are wasting time, want to waste time with somebody else so that both people don't be productive, because the last thing anybody wants is to be outproduced. So how do you deal with this? How do you deal with this difficult environment that you chose? Because I have seen people who have started a job and then just a few years later they're completely different. They're almost like a shell of a person. So this is what I've done. I've cut my life up into 3 stages. Kind of like an actor. The first stage, of course, is off-stage behavior. That's why I call this stage behavior. Off-stage behavior, I'm with my wife, I'm with my kids. I do everything I possibly can to reduce the stress in my life. Now, once I go to work, I have my plan, I know what I'm doing, and I don't really focus on other people's issues. I pretty much focus on the task at hand. When you go to work and you're around the people that you work with, this is the best way to stay out of trouble. People will only engage people that invite it. So if you're busy, nobody's going to really bother you. And it's the same thing as an actor. When an actor goes from their apartment in Williamsburg and goes to Broadway, they go backstage, and they have to be focused. They have to get their costume, they need to get their makeup done, they need to talk to the director if there's any last minute changes. And that's the same way you should be when you're backstage at your job. Now, on-stage behavior is obvious. That's when the actor walks onto stage, the applause starts, and they start the play. With us, it's when we're in front of the customer. And I got to tell you, you cannot act the same way that you act in front of a customer all the time. You need to have some time for yourself, and you need to be able to give yourself permission to not be that person. Because in order for us to be effective as a salesperson, we need to be able to focus completely on what that person needs. And we need to be focused on the job. And we don't really you really need to push down all of the feelings and all the things that you have going inside your head. So while you're in front of a customer, you need to be on stage and you need to be the best person you can be to get that deal. I am the best person in front of that client to be able to get the deal done. That's my job. Now when I'm done with that client, I'm back. When I'm back at home, I'm off stage, or when I go back to the office, I'm backstage. I behave the way that is prescribed depending on where I am. I will tell you, it sounds a little neurotic or a little controlling, but if you adopt this behavior, it will make your job and your life a lot easier, because it is a very, very difficult environment. And in order to survive it for 30 years like I did, I had to come up with a strategy. Thank you so much for watching our video. Like all of our other videos, these are free. All you need to do is go to www.worldsbestsalestrainer.com and register, and you'll be able to post your comments on our articles, be able to submit articles. And again, thanks for being a part of worldsbestsalestrainer.com.